Addressing election meddling, Russian agent jailed. I'm Barbara Cusack. After the White House press secretary tried to clarify President Trump's no answer to reporters who asked him earlier today whether Russia is still targeting U.S. elections, the president addressed the meddling issue during an interview with CBS News. Trump was asked if he holds Russian President Putin responsible for meddling in the 2016 presidential election.
Well, I would, because he's in charge of the country, just like I consider myself to be responsible for things that happen in this country. So certainly, as the leader of a country, you would have to hold him responsible, yes.
Prosecutors say a 29-year-old gun rights activist, Maria Butina, suspected of being a covert Russian agent, was likely in contact with Kremlin operatives while living here in the U.S.
Butina did arrive here with her lawyers. She entered a plea of not guilty. She was wearing the customary orange prison jumpsuit upon her arrival.
Correspondent Sarah Murray reports in court her attorneys tried to make a case for her release pending trial.
Trying to make the case that she is not a government spy and she should have been released on her own recognizance. But obviously that case did not appear convincing to the judge, who has decided that Maria Butina is going to await trial in a jail cell.
Suspected shark attacks led to the closure of some New York Long Island beaches after a 12- and 13-year-old were bitten off Fire Island. Head lifeguard Craig Amarando says emergency responders made a startling discovery in treating one of the victims.
Not only was it a shark bite, but they found one of the teeth still inside the boy. So the boy was very brave. He was alert the whole time. He was scared, of course.
The Federal Reserve's latest Beige Book report finds manufacturers across the U.S. expressing concern about tariffs. It also finds many are reporting higher prices and disruptions in the supply chain in the wake of new trade policies. Stocks closed mostly higher, the Dow up 79, the S&P added 6, but the Nasdaq down nearly 1 point. I'm Barbara Cusack.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
80% of employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. It's the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Arizona News Radio. Very heavy rain in parts of northern Arizona, especially in the Flagstaff area that was hard hit earlier in the week.
The thunderstorms that developed over the peaks have produced some really heavy rainfall rates. We've seen amounts actually over 4 inches just in the last couple of hours.
Democratic Congressman Ruben Gallego has concerns about President Trump's comments about Russia and national security issues.
Probably the most disgraceful act of a president ever going overseas. I can't even comprehend what was going through the president's mind.
Phoenix firefighters had their hands full. 7 people injured in a 2-car crash.
We did have to extricate 2 people out of one of the vehicles. We sent 4 people to the hospital in serious condition.
Pima County Sheriff's deputy injured after a shootout with a suspect who eventually was killed, but the deputy also dragged.
The suspect attempted to flee. He dragged Deputy Velasco a short distance before he was able to disengage the vehicle.
George Tanner, Arizona News.
It's time for your 1100 KVNX traffic report, brought to you by Summit Mail Medical. Taking a look out to Phoenix, we have an accident for Loop 202 westbound at 24th Street, as well as Camelback Road, west of 43rd Ave. And Phoenix, be on the lookout for a collision at 51st Ave at Broadway Road. They can't fix the traffic, but they can help with your erectile dysfunction or low testosterone issues. They will make your love life go zoom zoom. SummitMedical.com.
From the KFNX WeatherBug Weather Center, as we head into the evening, our air quality alert continues. Under partly cloudy skies, tonight's low 83. Thursday, mostly sunny and breezy, the high 106. Thursday night, partly cloudy, a chance of showers and thunderstorms, overnight low 87. I'm Scott Allen Fortney from the KFNX WeatherBug Weather Center.
Currently, in downtown Phoenix, it's 97 degrees. Next news in 30 minutes or when it breaks. Here on Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX.
Save more with Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Hey, what are you doing up here on the roof? I want to tell the world I just met the woman of my dreams. Well, what about you? I want to tell the world that Liberty Mutual saved me $782. Liberty did what? They saved me $782. Oh, you go first then. $782 really puts finding love into perspective.
Visit us online to get a quote, and you could save $782. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Based on a recent countrywide new customer survey, coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company, Equal Housing Insurer.
To prevent muscle cramps in your legs and feet, use TheraWorks Relief. This fast-acting foam is clinically proven to relieve leg and foot cramps. Get TheraWorks Relief today at select Walgreens, CVS, and Rite Aid pharmacies, or TheraWorksRelief.com. Ask your pharmacist for TheraWorks Relief.
Circle K's Polar Pop lets you do you. Choose your Polar Pop cup favorite flavor or create your own custom masterpiece. Any size foam Polar Pop cup, only 89 cents. Only at Circle K.
The information and opinions you hear on this radio show are those of the host, guests, and callers, and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of KFNX, its affiliates, management, or advertisers.
Live from the Midtown studios of KFNX, it's time for the Wellness Roundtable radio show, sponsored by Atrix.com. Now, here's your hosts, Dr. Spear and Dr. Weiss.
Welcome to the Wellness Roundtable radio show. It is Wednesday in Phoenix. We're here every Wednesday from 3 to 4. We talk about issues of wellness, health, and fitness with experts from all over the world. And today we're going to be talking about ketogenic eating with a food science and metabolic physiologist, Gerald Byrne, out of Ireland. He is the owner of Go Keto, which is a ketogenic supplement company. And he has agreed to come on here and have us kind of interview him and find out a little bit more of what a ketogenic diet is, what some of the approaches to eating ketogenic would be and how it can be beneficial to you, and then what some outcomes and results might be that you would expect. So welcome to the show, Gerry.
Hi, David. Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me on.
Welcome to the show. We've had you on before, and we really just kind of touched on some things, but I'd really like to delve into some topics today that I think could really help our listeners. And if you are listening in, give us a call at 1-866-536-1100 to join in on the conversation or maybe even ask Gerry a question. So, I've been doing a lot of research on this and hearing a lot about it, and it seems that ketogenic diets or this kind of high-fat, let's say, diet, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, seems to be really favorable these days. It seems to be kind of a trendy dietary behavior that a lot of people are following, and people are getting results out of it. So I'd like you to tell our listeners, from your point of view, from a food science point of view and a sort of a knowing point of view as far as what ketogenic diets are, define ketogenic eating.
Traditionally, it came from a higher fat, so you're talking a 60 to possibly even higher percentage of your diet coming from fat, small amount and the remainder from protein and some carbohydrates. The thing, what it has a resurgence. Originally, it was a metabolic therapy and so on, and still is in certain neurological conditions. But it's trending in the last number of years, and the reason being is people have tried both Atkins, modified Atkins, and various all sorts of diets with different terms. But ultimately, what they found is that they've kind of simplified the food intake to protein, some veg that grow above the ground, and oils and fats. And it's a simple approach that actually doesn't take that much time to put together meals. The outcome of the sustained energy from eating a higher portion of fat and nutrient dense protein vegetables means that your energy levels sustain better, which has a knock-on positive effect on how you feel and on your mood. And everybody seems to feel a similar thing. So there is this thing that people want to talk about it, and it's not just a fad, I think, or a trend. I think it's a movement in a direction back to more nutrient-dense food. And to me, that's exactly what's happening from a metabolic perspective, and that's why people are actually speaking about it in a positive manner.
Yeah, I mean, you bring up some really good points, and if Dr. Weiss was on with us today, which he's not, I'm sure he would have similar questions. But so, you know, when we look at the 1970s, and we look at the 80s, and we look at the kind of low-fat craze, with a lot of low-fat snacks and low-fat foods that came out, that's sort of when high fructose corn syrup and corn subsidies started to really increase, so that, you know, farmers could basically generate as much food as possible, and it was mostly made with corn. And then we found out that this sort of low-fat diet, you know, was filled with sugar, and then we started to see obesity creep up at the same time, and of course now it's at epidemic levels. My question is, what is it about the high fat that we were so scared of in the 70s that we now sort of agree with, and we've almost overcome our fear of it because we see that it's actually potentially positive in terms of whether it be weight loss or health? What is it about the high fat diet that changes our minds in that way?
Apart from the satiety of fat as a very nutrient-dense component in its when it's broken down, it's part of our very being, considering each cell is constructed of phospholipids and then of cholesterol to hold it in place. So neurologically, your myelin sheaths for your neurological system, then the production of hormones, your brain, which consumes 20%, and that rises, I think, more of your energy as you utilize it and it functions at a high capacity. So the fat in its own right, they've shown the link between how a metabolic system actually takes up fat now and uses it as fuel in a healthy state, but in a non-healthy state, the fat isn't used because generally sugar is the predominant component circulating the body, which has a knock-on effect of always putting fat into storage mode and not into use in each cell, let it be a muscle cell, an organ cell, or a neurological cell, or your brain for that matter. So fat really didn't get an opportunity to get used until you give it the opportunity.
It's interesting because it seems counterintuitive, right? It seems like if you take in more fat, you're going to get fat. But that's not necessarily what we're finding, right? What we're finding is if you take in... What we're finding is if you take in more fat, you now have a potential energy source to use, which in the 70s and 80s, that wasn't the case. That wasn't what, you know, sort of not necessarily the government, but that wasn't necessarily the people who were in the know were telling people. Leave the fat alone, don't eat the fat, just eat all the low-fat stuff, and that was what really, you know, changed our dietary behavior, and it's something that we're still dealing with now in a big way.
I believe we are in modern Western developed and now in all other countries it's starting to come true to where that approach to very convenient, very accessible food is a mind shift. It was a mind shift back through those years, but I suppose there was fear over coronary heart disease, arteriosclerosis. There was the fear over strokes. There was the fear over what caused it. And you know, look, as evolution goes, I believe that you learn from mistakes. And you move forward. At this stage, we can't go back, so we move forward, and that's one of the reasons why I suppose I'm so passionate about this particular topic, and not just lifestyle, but also about spreading the correct message to let's see, will people Will it make that difference in single and everybody's life that actually take it on and go forward into a more healthy lifestyle approach that I suppose we're going to chat about over the while now to demystify and see how it's so simple.
Well, let's, when we come back, let's talk about some of the names that are given to these diets and kind of dispel those myths. And we'll talk about some food choices, also some very simple food choices to enhance a ketogenic diet. We're speaking with Gerald Byrne, who's a food science and metabolic physiologist, and also the owner of Go Keto, a ketogenic supplement company in Ireland. This is the Wellness Roundtable Show, and we'll be right back after these words.
Come join Aging 2.0 for the annual Optimize Conference in San Francisco on November 14th and 15th. With 1,000 plus attendees each year, this is one of the largest conferences in the field of aging. It is an annual conference with cutting-edge content, networking, and partnership opportunities that make this a high-value event for anyone interested in innovation and aging. This year, it is taking place in the iconic Herbst Theater at the War Memorial Building in San Francisco. Optimize will feature captivating keynotes, exclusive networking opportunities, unique market insights, and a cutting-edge showcase of innovative exhibitors. Get registered today at www.aging2.com/optimize-2018.
Atrix is one of the fastest growing companies in the footwear industry and is widely recognized as a global leader in comfort and wellness footwear products. The Atrix mission is to create the healthiest shoe on the market today. With fashion, function, and quality at the forefront, Atrix designs and manufactures most types of footwear for both men and women. All styles are crafted with care to meet the highest standards in design, incorporate cutting-edge technologies, and offer unmatched customization and adjustability. To learn how Atrix can help you with your feet, go to aetrex.com. That's atrix.com.
Are you tired of traveling or waiting to see a health professional? Now you don't have to. Video chat with an expert anytime, anywhere, and get your health questions answered. Visit wellnessroundtable.com and speak to experts from all over the country in the areas of health, wellness, and fitness. Wellnessroundtable.com offers an on-demand system that allows you to connect to an expert immediately. No scheduling, no appointments necessary. Wellnessroundtable.com. Visit our website and take advantage of our on-demand system, wellnessroundtable.com, where you get your questions answered. Wellnessroundtable.com.
Do you want to change the way you eat? How about trying a keto diet? Ever thought about a ketogenic lifestyle and how it brings about long-term health? Go Keto is a product that can do just that. Go Keto is the brainchild of Gerald Byrne, an international specialist in food science and metabolic physiology. Go Keto can reduce cravings and preserve muscle and glycogen stores. And most importantly, it has a natural taste, no sugar, no carbs, and no caffeine. Go Keto is clean fuel for body and mind. Visit GB Nutrisize and use the promo code WellGoKeto20 to receive 20% off your first order. Get your Go Keto today and change your life for the better.
Want to speak to an expert? Have a question involving your health and fitness? Visit wellnessroundtable.com and listen to the Wellness Roundtable Radio Hour right here on Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX, every Wednesday at 3 p.m.
180 over 111, and I had a stroke. I couldn't speak or walk.
150 over 90, and I had a stroke.
This is what high blood pressure sounds like. You might not feel its symptoms, but the results from a stroke are far from silent. Get back on your treatment plan or talk with your doctor to create a plan that works for you. Go to loweryourhbp.org.
Head to toe, everything's changed.
Brought to you by the American Stroke Association, American Medical Association, and the Ad Council.
We're back with the Wellness Roundtable Radio Show. Give us a call at 1-866-536-1100. We're talking with Gerald Byrne, food scientist and metabolic physiologist, and the owner of Go Keto, a ketogenic supplement company in Ireland. And, you know, Gerry, I'm curious as to what your thoughts are as far as all the names that are given to these diets. A lot of different acronyms and a lot of different names are kind of thrown around. And I wonder if it's very confusing to people. How does it affect your business? And what do you see as the right name to call this particular eating behavior or eating plan so that it's not so confusing?
Very good question, David. Thanks for asking that. The one thing I've found with people when you say low carbohydrate, higher fat, whatever percentage or portion of protein, ketogenic, it's food already is too confusing. Food in its own right, because everybody has an idea, everybody has a name on it, and everybody has an angle. So the one thing that I think is to strip it back. It's food choice to begin with, and try and simplify the approach. When I find people, what is carbohydrate, or is there carbohydrates in that? And the questions become, you can see how people can step away and just they shun away from stuff that they're not fully aware of. And really and truly, I believe that we should do more from a younger age to actually, really tease out what the micronutrients are, and what they, so there's an education barrier to begin with. Foods generally should be a real entity. So it should have been either an egg or a piece of meat or a fish or some vegetables, or really it should be in a natural. All the most nutrient dense foods in the world are and they're natural, and that's something that I find that when you actually give them a template of basic outlines of types of protein, types of carbohydrates, and yes, carbohydrates, you can eat a certain amount of carbohydrates even on a reduced carbohydrate, but that depends on your goal and your outcome. If you're looking to cut back weight or you're looking to build muscle, well, everything swaps and lifts and rises in different proportions. So I think I personally, nutrients is a key term. Food. I have personal. I think the keto approach, actually more modification of it possibly, because you by being stringent and strict with any dietary regime, I think is unmanageable for most people unless they're extremely motivated and very strong-willed to continue. And to me, I think they have enough to do in a stressful, working environment, and regardless of anything, it should be easy to follow. It should be very easy to manage. Hi, David.
Do you want to change the way you eat? How about trying a keto diet? Ever thought about a ketogenic lifestyle and how it brings about long-term health? Go Keto is a product that can do just that. Go Keto is the brainchild of Byrne, an international specialist in food science and metabolic physiology. Go Keto can reduce cravings and preserve muscle and glycogen stores. And most importantly, it has a natural taste, no sugar, no carbs, and no caffeine. Go Keto is clean fuel for body and mind. Visit GB Nutrisize and use the promo code WellGoKeto20 to receive 20% off your first order. Get your Go Keto today and change your life for the better.
Want to speak to an expert? Have a question involving your health and fitness? Visit wellnessroundtable.com and listen to the Wellness Roundtable Radio Hour right here on Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX, every Wednesday at 3 p.m.
Okay, so sorry we got cut off. Those are technical difficulties. Sorry about that. Give us a call at 1-866-536-1100. We're speaking with Gerry Byrne, owner of Go Keto, a ketogenic supplement company in Ireland. So, Gerry, you mentioned, you said it needs to be simple, it needs to be easy. Give me some food choices that somebody could start with just to kind of springboard into this ketogenic lifestyle.
The best way to approach is lifelong health in food is to bring it back to its bare bones. And number one thing is to grab protein. The next thing is to have some sort of fat or oil that you cook it in. And the next thing is to have a vegetable. or a few different. If you're going to have one veg, why not have 2 or 3? They're very quick. They're very easy. Protein in the form of fish, meat, eggs, very quick, very easy. And you don't have to be Jamie Oliver or a top chef to put this stuff together.
Now, are you having this in the same meal, Gerry? Are you having it in the same meal, or are you doing it in kind of 3 different segments? Okay.
As a meal, I think the real easy one to follow is a meal is made up of meat, which is M, eggs, which is E, A, which is added fats for cooking, and L, which are leaves. And I think that's a really, really great, because that's a meal. And look, if you're having breakfast, it could be bacon and egg. But if you're having lunch, you could have fish, you could have oil and leaves. And if you're having your dinner, you could have roast chicken, spiced chicken thighs in the oven. You could have avocado slices with some a small bit of wild rice or something, tiny bit of rice and some greens. Okay. Your salad to start, olive oil, balsamic vinegar on top. Look, there's a day's meal already. It's very simplistic. There is numerous choices to go to from selections of meats and so on, and we can discuss them in a while. But I think the approach, by calling it a meal, as in meat, eggs, added fats, and then leaves, keeps it simple. Yeah. A very simple approach.
That's excellent. I think that's a great take-home message. So it's a meal. Meat, eggs, added, which would be additional oils, and then leaves, which would be leafy greens or a spinach or kale or something of that nature. Correct?
Yeah. So that's all your vegetables that you can, there's literally hundreds of choices there.
Right.
In all those,
like broccoli and cauliflower and Brussels sprouts and things of that nature. So, but you mentioned the F word, right? You mentioned the F word in terms of like the additional fat. What are some good fats that an individual could use in their meal that wouldn't be detrimental?
The thing about the fat has changed, and you mentioned that, and the LDL link and the HDL link and all that is starting to change, and there's numerous, the Lancet, British Medical Journal, all the studies are pointing in the same direction that it does not cause the type of thing that they had thought in the past, and the saturated fat in its own right from real butters, from a lard that's taken from the animal, the rind of the fat, and that's taken and that's used as a cooking component. Coconut oil is a fantastic source of lauric, caprylic acids, all the medium chain triglycerides. That's fantastic, easy to cook. Olive oil in its own right can be cooked with, depending on the type of olive oil, whether it's the variety of the olive. But it has a burn point of 260 degrees. You're not going to cook anywhere near that for it to degrade. So that's possible also. But I think the butters, if you have a ribeye steak and you do some butter, some ground sea salt and some pepper, that's fantastic. Like, you're talking serious taste. You're talking about goodness. You can't beat a meal. And I do respect there's people who are vegetarian, and there's all sorts of other protein options.
Got it. And let's talk about that when we come back. We're speaking with Gerald Byrne, who is the owner of Go Keto, a ketogenic supplement company in Ireland. He's also a food scientist and a metabolic physiologist. And his website is GBNutricize, NutriCise.com. He has a lot of information on the site, as well as the ability to have you take a look at the supplement, and you can purchase the supplement if you like. So we'll be back in a couple of minutes. Give us a call at 602-277-5369. This is the Wellness Roundtable Radio Show on Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX.
I was wasting in this living hell. You don't know my kind of
Independent Talk 1100 KFNX is celebrating our 20-year anniversary this month. We would like to thank the listeners for all your support through the years. It would not have happened without you.
President Trump opened up during an interview with CBS News about his conversation with Russian President Putin during their summit about election meddling. Trump said he told Putin the United States will not tolerate election interference in the future. Trump also said he holds Putin personally responsible because he's in charge of his country. More than a month after North Korea pledged to immediately return some American war dead, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo addressed the matter during a cabinet hearing.
We're making progress along the border to get the return of remains, a very important issue for those families. We think in the next couple of weeks we'll have the first remains returned. That's the commitment.
The threat of thunderstorms in the area where the Ferguson fire is burning near Yosemite National Park could bring some relief, but it also poses increased risk. The wildfire has already scorched more than 17,000 acres, burning through steep and rugged forest. I'm Barbara Cusack.
It's time for 1100 KFNX Traffic Report, brought to you by MGM Resorts. Taking a look out to Phoenix, we have an accident with the I-10 westbound at 7th Street, as well as Bell Road at 28th Street, and in Tempe be on the lookout for a collision at Southern Ave at Highway 101. Humans weren't born to be bored. That's why they created MGM Resorts, to entertain the human race. Visit MGMResorts.com for rooms starting at $39 a night. MGM Resorts, welcome to the show.
From the KFNX WeatherBug Weather Center, as we head into the evening, our air quality alert continues. Under partly cloudy skies, tonight's low 83. Thursday, mostly sunny and breezy, the high 106. Thursday night, partly cloudy, a chance of showers and thunderstorms, overnight low 87. I'm Scott Allen Fortney from the KFNX WeatherBug Weather Center.
Currently, in downtown Phoenix, it's 97 degrees.
Next news in 30 minutes or when it breaks, here on Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX.
Hi, Solar Sandy here. Currently, you're buying expensive power from your power company, paying fees, taxes, and all kinds of charges for your electricity. I want you to save money on a bill you're already spending too much on, and it's going to keep going up. To get saving with solar, fill out my kilowatt worksheet, and then I come to your house to show you how many panels you need and how much PYOP, producing your own power, will save you. No more high electric bills. It's really quite simple. Now you produce your own power and pay less for it. Go to my website, AskSolarSandy.com. That's AskSolarSandy.com.
Do you want to change the way you eat? How about trying a keto diet? Ever thought about a ketogenic lifestyle and how it brings about long-term health? Go Keto is a product that can do just that. Go Keto is the brainchild of Gerry Byrne, an international specialist in food science and metabolic physiology. Go Keto can reduce cravings and preserve muscle and glycogen stores. And most importantly, it has a natural taste, no sugar, no carbs, and no caffeine. Go Keto is clean fuel for body and mind. Visit GB Nutrisize and use the promo code WellGoKeto20 to receive 20% off your first order. Get your Go Keto today and change your life for the better.
Want to speak to an expert? Have a question involving your health and fitness? Visit wellnessroundtable.com and listen to the Wellness Roundtable Radio Hour right here on Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX, every Wednesday at 3 p.m.
Come join Aging 2.0 for the annual Optimize Conference in San Francisco on November 14th and 15th. With 1,000 plus attendees each year, this is one of the largest conferences in the field of aging. It is an annual conference with cutting-edge content, networking, and partnership opportunities that make this a high-value event for anyone interested in innovation and aging. This year, it is taking place in the iconic Herbst Theater at the War Memorial Building in San Francisco. Optimize will feature captivating keynotes, exclusive networking opportunities, here we go, unique market insights, and a cutting-edge showcase of innovative exhibitors. Get registered today at www.aging2.com/optimize-2018.
We're back with the Wellness Roundtable Radio Show. Give us a call at 1-866-536-1100 to ask a question or join in on the conversation. We're speaking with Gerry Byrne, the owner of Go Keto, a supplement company in Ireland that sells supplements in relation to ketogenic diets. And he's also a food scientist and a very smart guy, so we're really enjoying talking to him. And so, Gerry, I want to ask, in terms of an approach to eating, just, again, from my own personal experience and from people I've spoken to, it would seem to me it'd be very difficult to stay on a ketogenic diet for a long period of time, that you would have to kind of cycle on and cycle off of it. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it is a difficult approach, but mind you, not impossible. But for the general public and people who are probably less motivated, the first point of call is to make that change, to eat better, to start thinking about real food, minimally processed, better ingredients. And once they make that step, you have them onto a change pattern, and that takes its time course. But for sure, as their metabolic system is enhanced by eating correctly, timing, less unhealthy snacks, and eating correct nutrient-dense foods, their bodies will become far better and metabolically enhanced to a degree, which will allow them flexibility. I think the flexibility is a key term because we're humans, and I think we need to be able to snack. I think nature provided berries and apples on trees and lovely luscious fruit at certain times of the year for a reason. So if you only look at nature in its own right, it's the answers are really there. There is a point when your body, and they've shown over cyclical and also hormonal trends from an endocrinology perspective, there is this thing whereby your body actually acts slightly differently in the winter as it would in the summer. And that also depends on waking hours. It also depends on light, the circadian rhythms, but on also traditionally going back further to paleo, I suppose, to the availability of food. And I do respect that that's totally out of whack now. Possibly one reason why everything is out of whack as regards why a lot of people are carrying extra weight, not using it as fuel, when they could be far healthier.
Right. Okay. So what you're saying is, so you go on this eating plan and you become educated in terms of whole foods and nutrients, and then you sort of slowly integrate that into your life. And I would say that also, it really does, it affects an individual in terms of the choices they make, right? So when you're doing something like, a ketogenic eating plan, when you go out and you can make choices, the choices you make are a lot different than they would have been had you not been on this eating plan. So it just changes your mindset a lot. You were talking about a paradigm shift before. And that's basically what it is, right? You have to shift your thinking. But it's very difficult, but then I would come back and say, not to defend people, but I would say that, with decades and decades of this bombardment of information on eat high fat, don't eat high fat, eat an egg, don't eat an egg, eat this, don't eat this, it's very, very confusing. And it's very difficult.
It is.
And it would seem to me, and not to disparage in any way a ketogenic, dietary behavior or diet, but it would seem to me that a ketogenic diet is one of the diets that's available, right? So there's what about the paleo diet? How does that differ from a ketogenic diet? And what about this other diet? And what about this diet and intermittent fasting and all this? It's very, very confusing. But, what is the bottom line?
It's very confusing.
Right. So what's the bottom line?
I actually
right?
feel...
What's the...
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I feel for the people who don't kind of look at it, break down the components and understand each component. Like we said earlier, that some people are not even aware, is carbohydrate, is fat in that, is it not? And you can label processed food, and people now they're slowly trying to be educated on a label of processed food. But food really should have, as I said, be a commodity of a natural state. Let it be a fat oil, or let it be a meat, or some sort of protein from nuts or an egg, but also vegetables and so on, So the education element is where we must go back to, I believe, to make this change. But there's a lot of work from that point onward as well with each individual. But the one thing is to keep it simple and to make it accessible, and also to give the person the tools, because the person needs the tools when they go out for dinner, when they go for lunch, when they prepare their own food, and also when they go to the superstore to go and buy the food that they're going to consume.
Yeah. And that's fair. That's a fair point. But what are some of those tools that someone could have at the ready, that's very accessible to kind of help them along the path?
Well, let the hints and tips are simple. Eat your protein, eat your fats, eat your vegetables, and leave your carbohydrates until later. Has a far better effect on your postprandial insulin response. Has a far better effect on your satiety. Your also has a far better effect on the knock-on hormones downstream. So you'll actually feel fuller for longer. And your body will do what it's supposed to do with the bile acids and with your stomach and enzymes and so on. Also, you should really look at labels. You should understand some labeling and know what you're dealing with. It's very difficult to say crowd out junk food, processed foods with every meal and snack, and that's possibly it might be very difficult to do that. I always say to people, be prepared. If you're traveling here or there, maybe have some nuts, seeds with them. Always have some water. You can always have a coffee somewhere. You can get, there's no problem there. When you do go and buy a meal, that you can actually make the choice and you're confident to say, well, look, I just have the protein, I just have those greens and whatever, and then you have those kind of tools like that are very easy to kind of keep thinking about, but also not to trim fat from meat. Eat the fat. The fat is not bad. The fat is actually very beneficial. That whole thing about 1 to 3 eggs a week. You can have 1 to 3 eggs. You could have 2 eggs a day. You could have your eggs in the morning. You could also have a hard-boiled egg or eggs at lunchtime or with a salad. Yep. You should really enjoy healthy food. There is nothing better than food. And food it brings people together. It's so crucial as regards the amount, the importance of it as regards an individual and their health, their well-being. It's imperative that we get this message right and get it to the people. Everybody deserves to have the right message. And look at a simple template. And we can do that. We can let's get a template on the webpage. I'll put a template up. So we can get make a start.
Yeah, and I hear what you're saying. I hear that the bottom line and the take-home message is just eat whole food. And if you're out and about and you are not necessarily cooking for yourself or making something, then just make those choices that would be considered somewhat beneficial to you. So you're not eating processed food. You're not eating stuff out of a box or out of a bag. And I agree with you. I think, it's easier said than done getting those tools into people's hands. But once you do that and once you kind of allow them to acclimate to that over a period of time, then yes, their behavior will change. It's just a matter of actually having them see the light in the beginning. And I think that ketogenic diets have sort of I think been looked at very favorably because people are finding that there is some weight loss and there is increased energy with it. There are these beneficial changes in our physiology that happen in response. And that's the next thing I want to talk about. What are some of the expected outcomes that we see? And then how does your supplement specifically help those individuals who are going, into ketogenesis or using a ketogenic diet? This is the Wellness Roundtable radio show. Join us in the next segment at 1-866-536-1100. We're speaking with Gerald Byrne, food scientist and metabolic physiologist, and owner of Go Keto, ketogenic supplement company in Ireland. We'll be right back after these words.
Do you want to change the way you eat? How about trying a keto diet? Ever thought about a ketogenic lifestyle and how it brings about long-term health? Go Keto is a product that can do just that. Go Keto is the brainchild of Gerry Byrne, an international specialist in food science and metabolic physiology. Go Keto can reduce cravings and preserve muscle and glycogen stores. And most importantly, it has a natural taste, no sugar, no carbs, and no caffeine. Go Keto is clean fuel for body and mind. Visit GB Nutrisize and use the promo code WellGoKeto20 to receive 20% off your first order. Get your Go Keto today and change your life for the better.
Atrix is one of the fastest growing companies in the footwear industry and is widely recognized as a global leader in comfort and wellness footwear products. The Atrix mission is to create the healthiest shoe on the market today. With fashion, function, and quality at the forefront, Atrix designs and manufactures most types of footwear for both men and women. All styles are crafted with care to meet the highest standards in design, incorporate cutting-edge technologies, and offer unmatched customization and adjustability. To learn how Atrix can help you with your feet, go to AETREX.com. That's Atrix.com.
Come join Aging 2.0 for the annual Optimize Conference in San Francisco on November 14th and 15th. With 1,000 plus attendees each year, this is one of the largest conferences in the field of aging. It is an annual conference with cutting-edge content, networking, and partnership opportunities that make this a high-value event for anyone interested in innovation and aging. This year, it is taking place in the iconic Herbst Theater at the War Memorial Building in San Francisco. Optimize will feature captivating keynotes, exclusive networking opportunities, unique market insights, and a cutting-edge showcase of innovative exhibitors. Get registered today at www.aging2.com/optimize-2018.
Want to speak to an expert? Have a question involving your health and fitness? Visit wellnessroundtable.com and listen to the Wellness Roundtable Radio Hour right here on Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX, every Wednesday at 3 p.m.
Are you tired of traveling or waiting to see a health professional? Now you don't have to. Video chat with an expert anytime, anywhere, and get your health questions answered. Visit wellnessroundtable.com and speak to experts from all over the country in the areas of health, wellness, and fitness. Wellnessroundtable.com offers an on-demand system that allows you to connect to an expert immediately. No scheduling, no appointments necessary. Wellnessroundtable.com. Visit our website and take advantage of our on-demand system, wellnessroundtable.com, where you get your questions answered. Wellnessroundtable.com.
C.W. Coulter started the Coulter Motor Company way back in 1923. Today, a fourth-generation Coulter family still practices C.W.'s philosophy for a fair deal and exceptional customer service. Hi, I'm Paul Glanz, General Manager of Arizona's premier GMC Buick dealer, and 95 years later, I'm proud to be continuing C.W.'s legacy. Visit us and see our lineup of 2018 GMC and Buick vehicles at 12th Street in Camelback or online at CoulteronCamelback.com.
With Gerry Byrne, owner of Go Keto, which is a supplement company out of Ireland that is used for ketogenic diets. He's also a food scientist and a metabolic physiologist. And I wanted to ask you, Gerry, in terms of the outcomes that are expected from a ketogenic diet, can you give me kind of three main outcomes?
Yes, the main, your improved energy, your stable energy, your gastrointestinal issues, they dissipate. The big underlying ones are overall health, really, and that's through most of the I suppose the reduced body's inflammation, and that happens through eating correctly, eating at the right times, and possibly eating slightly less of foods that you didn't really need. And remember, it's a simple thing to look at somebody who's is carrying excess weight, is that there is definitely something going on with their metabolic system. They're taking in, and it's not just calorie in, calorie out. There could be underlying issues with metabolic system, that there's underlying inflammation. Is it a which came first situation? That would have to be looked at. But oxidation, free radical damage, they have knock-on effects for your overall health in the long term. But you're reducing risks of any kind of pre-diabetes situations down the road as you age. And remember, everybody's metabolism slows as you age. And I suppose everything is fine for an 18-year-old up to 25 who's very active and healthy. But, once you sit behind a desk for 8 to 10 hours in a day and with minimal exercise, unless you're athletic-minded, you really do have to start looking at blood sugars, your optimal health, nutrient intake and so on as the years click by. So I suppose they're the real take-home messages from that point.
That's a good point. And so with your supplement, how is it used? And I know, do you have medium chain triglycerides in the supplement, and can you define what those are?
My supplement at the moment doesn't have medium chain triglycerides, which are C8 or C10 backbone. They're generally caprylic acid triglyceride. They're not in mine. My supplement is 100% pure beta hydroxybutyrate, which is the ketone body your liver actually produces when it goes into that mode of reduced glycogen or sugar intake. And that metabolite in its own right is coming to the fore more and more, believe it or not, from I suppose, not just an antioxidation, free radical perspective, reduced inflammation. There's numerous knock-on cell signaling potentials and longevity even, for that matter, and which kind of ties into how intermittent fasting and fasting as a cultural, I suppose, paradigm was always part of many different cultures down through the millennia, and for thousands of years, numerous cultures had it part of there. For good reason. It actually helped cleanse the body naturally. My supplement in its own right is just 100% beta hydroxybutyrate, formulated magnesium, calcium, and sodium backbones. So it's just that's it. It's flavored with some lemon, a natural lemon, and the supplement itself. It can be easily taken. I recommend to begin once to twice a day for maybe 3 to 5 days in a week. It does take a little bit of time for your gastro, I suppose for your gut mucus layers and then also the absorption rate to get used to it. It's pretty powerful. It's powerful in that sense with non-stimulant, but what it does is normal person in a ketogenic approach would be anywhere from 0.5 millimole up to 1 millimole of blood beta hydroxybutyrate. So my supplement will bring you up to about 1 millimole within 30 minutes. So if you're doing, that's how it happens. So you take the supplement in water, and within 30 minutes, your blood beta hydroxybutyrate, which, by the way, we should have mentioned, I suppose, that can be easily measured by a pinprick, and there's numerous companies in the States at the moment and all over the world that supply. Mojo do one, and Abbott do one. They do a pinprick with a little lancet and also with a meter that you can just measure the blood.
So like a glucometer, like something for blood sugar that you can use.
Exactly.
So with your supplement, you have to take it while on a ketogenic diet, correct? You cannot be taking it and then
that's
eating.
The reason.
Tell me.
No, not at all, David. And that's one of the reasons why I'm actually so passionate about food and nutrients and partition that I suppose I found myself compelled to put this product on the market, because I believe that this is a catalyst to help people to actually start eating correctly and to fueling their bodies the way they should naturally be.
So you're eating a whole food diet with nutrient dense foods, and then you're using the supplement, which is sort of getting you into ketosis.
Yes, so I can also have those days where I have an extra glass of wine or an extra beer, or maybe some carbs if I'm doing high intensity exercise, or if I'm doing a road race. I do some cycling, and if you're doing stuff like that, or in the weight room, You can kind of partition your fuel. You can be very strategic about your periodization of what you're eating, when you're eating it, what you're doing, depending on the day's work, what your schedule is. So, it's really a game changer as regards being so flexible that you can actually, without having the pain of reducing carbohydrate and going through keto flu and so on, this product actually gives you the added bonus of the electrolytes that your body gets depleted of, sodium being the main one, and also your magnesium and some calcium to balance that. But look, it's a different approach when you take the Go Keto, because it makes it so much easier.
Got it. Okay, so we've talked a lot about ketogenic diets with Gerald Byrne, who is the owner of Go Keto, a ketogenic supplement company out of Ireland. His website is GB, that's girl boy, Nutricize, NUTRICISE.com. Please go there for as much information as you need on ketogenic diets, on whole foods, on nutrient-dense foods, on recipes, and you can buy his supplement through that website as well. Again, that's gbnutricize.com. So, Gerry, we've been talking for a little bit, and we've covered a lot. What are some of the take-home messages that you would tell our listeners if they were, looking to start a ketogenic diet, or they just want to kind of find out more about food?
The take-home message is to look at the component of the meal, because the food that you take in, let it be snacks. If they're real snacks, healthy snacks, they're a better option. They're as accessible now as the alternatives. So look at the energy and the density. Look at the component. In other words, is it protein? Has it fibers in it? Generally, proteins are high in fibers. There's fats. There's snacks that you can take that are fats, like a walnut, for example, or macadamia nuts, or any nuts. Or they're fantastic snacks. So rather than low nutrient energies, which are high in energy but low in nutrients, steer your compass towards the high nutrient energies of protein, fats, fibers. That's the one message that you need to take.
Okay. And also the acronym is MEAL. Remember, meat, eggs, an add-on, which would be a healthy oil, kind of like an olive oil, correct?
Healthy oils or fats.
Yeah, fats. And then, or avocados, things like that, nuts, have very healthy fats. And then leaves, like green leafy vegetables, cruciferous vegetables, such as cauliflower, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, and also leafy
asparagus,
greens, such as
mushrooms,
spinach and kale.
Yes.
So, fantastic. This was great. Really informational. I want to thank you for being on the show. Again, this was Gerald Byrne, who is the owner of Go Keto, a ketogenic supplement company in Ireland, a food scientist and a metabolic physiologist. For Dr. Scott Weiss, who wasn't with us today, I am Dr. David Spear, and this is the Wellness Roundtable radio show, and we'll be back with you next Wednesday. Take care.
You've been listening to the Wellness Roundtable radio show right here on Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX. Tune in next week for more from the experts on the Wellness Roundtable radio show.
The information and opinions you hear on this radio show are those of the host, guests, and callers, and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of KFNX, its affiliates, management, or advertisers.
Atrix is one of the fastest growing companies in the footwear industry and is widely recognized as a global leader in comfort and wellness footwear products. The Atrix mission is to create the healthiest shoe on the market today. With fashion, function, and quality at the forefront, Atrix designs and manufactures most types of footwear for both men and women. All styles are crafted with care to meet the highest standards in design, incorporate cutting-edge technologies, and offer unmatched customization and adjustability. To learn how Atrix can help you with your feet, go to AETREX.com. That's Atrix.com.
Last year alone, there were 550 juveniles and over 1,800 adult victims of sex trafficking identified in the state of Arizona. Each day, there are over 200 prostituted people being sold online for sex in our state. There are over 300 illicit massage parlors operating as brothels in our neighborhoods. Each day, over 10,000 potential buyers shop online prostitution ads in Arizona. Even one is too many. It's simple math. If there were no buyers, there would be no business for the traffickers and no victims of human trafficking. Visit trustaz.org to get involved and see how you can help stop human trafficking in Arizona.
You're listening to Independent Talk, 1100 KFNX, Cave Creek, Phoenix, a division of Premier Radio Stations, the home of Laura Ingraham, weekdays 6 to 9.